The Modi government recently introduced a new national education policy to replace a policy that was on for the last 34 years. So after that, a massive reform. There's been a revamp of our education system, both for schools as well as for universities. Let's now break down for you what particular major changes are we talking about for colleges. Now, there have been major changes for both the school level as well as for universities. We have already broken down for you some of the implications for school students. Let's now talk about the changes in higher education. The first is that there's going to be one regulator for all. What this means is that the Higher Education Commission of India, the HECI, which I mentioned, will now regulate all aspects of higher education. Besides medical and legal colleges, they will take care of everything. So what this means is that there will be no more of a UGC or a University Grants Commission. The AICTE has also been done away with. One important highlight is that there are multiple entry and exit points for higher education. What this means is that any student can in fact decide to join whenever they want and leave the course whenever they want. There's an option of a sabbatical now given to students. They can choose to perhaps leave midway and then come back after taking a gap. So that is an option that's now been introduced by the education policy. So when we explain this multiple entry and exit point, it's important to also highlight how this will be done. What they're talking about is an academics credits bank. What this means is essentially if I'm going to college and I'm going for 4-year course, I can study for 2 years and then take a break and then come back. So those 2 years, whatever I've earned will go into an academic bank of credits. It will stay there. If I decide to work for 2 years and then come back to finish my education, those credits will still count for me. So that is one very important aspect, an important highlight that we must mention. So as far as the sabbatical goes, this is how it will work. Now, there's also a national testing agency that's been set up, and this will mean essentially that there is going to be one test that will decide entry to colleges. I'm sure you've heard of the SATs, which is in the United States. So a similar process here. The exams will not be compulsory for students who want to in fact join colleges. They will have to write this one exam, and grading on this will be a criteria for college entry. Another very important highlight that will be rejoiced by students and parents is that there's going to be a fixed fee structure. The government is going to in fact set up a panel that will be looking into the fee structure and then deciding a certain fixed fee for private as well as public universities. Very often the criticism has been that private universities charge very high fees and there's no cap on that. That's going to be addressed in this education policy, with steps being taken to ensure that fees also, that exorbitant fees cannot be charged by private universities. Now, interestingly, the MPhil will be discontinued. So for students who want to go ahead and do their PhD, they can do so after their master's degree. They don't need to go for an MPhil. That will mean that it takes lesser time for them to get this degree. Another aspect of the national education policy is setting up of multidisciplinary institutes. So this is a very, very ambitious project by the government, where they're saying that institutes, educational ones, will be set up in or near every district by 2030. So 10 years from now, in almost every district in the country, there will be what they call a multidisciplinary institute. What this means is that this institute will in fact be on par with any other university, because it will have the capability of providing undergraduate and graduate programs. It will also have high quality teaching, will ensure that students get all the practical skills that they need. So those are also the highlights of the national education policy for college students. We've broken down all the key highlights that you need to know about the education policy, and we hope that you found this video helpful.